Welcome back to another Waynos Fotos video, and this video is going to be about the failure of the Continental Gatorskin Sprinter tubular tyre, and I'll show you what happened there, and also it's going to show you how I'm going to fit the new Continental Gatorskin tubular onto the rim. I'm going to be taking the old one off, what I do, and I used a tape method to put the new tubular Gatorskin tubular Sprinter tyre on the rim. And I have a bit of a conversation about why I think it failed, and also give a bit of explanation of all the little things that I do when I change my tyre. Okay guys, so we're going to go outside and we're going to get right into it. Well, what this video is about is it's kind of a two-set video. What it's going to be, first thing is we're going to talk about this Continental Gatorskin Sprinter tyre, which is a tubular design, and what's actually happened is the area here where the valve stem is, the stitching around the part where the valve comes out has given way, and the threads have basically broken and it started to expand in that area. And what's happened is eventually the tubes failed, and as you can see, it's dead flat. These have butyl tubes, so it's not like a latex tube that loses air. It's flat because the tile's failed. So what we're going to do is we're going to take that off and we're going to put a new one. Now, I've bought these same tyres again because apart from this failure, they haven't given me any punctures. They are a tyre that's designed to be tougher, and this is my rain bike that I use in the rain, so I want something a little bit more reliable than just the lightweight racing cotton tyres that I use on my other bike. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be talking about the failure, and we're also going to swap the tyre out for another tubular tyre. Not everyone's seen how a tubular tyre is fitted, so for people who haven't seen that, you'll be able to see that happening. I have got other videos on my channel if you want to see how tubular tyres are fitted. That'll be in more detail. This one's not going to be in so much detail because we're also talking about this brand and the failure that I've had whilst using this unit. To give you some background from these tyres, I don't know how old they are because I inherited them with the rims. I did a swap with another guy. He was running tubulars and he kind of didn't like them, and I had some clincher rims, so I swapped them over. These rims came with it. The rims are a 10 to 15-year-old vintage rim, very old Reynolds rim. They still work fine, but the tyres came with them. So I don't know how old the tyres are. They could be like 10 years old or whatever, and the failure of these threads could be just normal age of threads materials as they get old. So I'm giving the same brand here, well, not the same brand, this is exactly the same tyre, another go, and I've bought them, and we're going to be fitting that on the tyre today. So even though I have had a failure, I'm a little bit disappointed about that, being Continental tyres, which are a premium brand. I do lean a little bit towards forgiving them because the tyre is quite old, or potentially could be quite old. Well, what I like to use, instead of a rag, I like to use these, they're kind of like wet ones. This one's a generic Bang Coles, but they're kind of like an impregnated antibacterial disinfectant. I love using these for cleaning the bikes. You don't have to put water on. They get all the muck off. But in this situation here, what I'm going to do is just use this to hold the chain. And so what we're going to do is put the chain in the smallest ring on the front and the smallest ring on the back. So let's just do that. Okay, so I've got that, lost my shoe. So I've got that in the smallest ring. So obviously we have the cam lock, because this is a rim brake, but if it's a disc brake, you would have a different system. So we just let that out. So we can just pull this back, lift out this, we just put that there. See, I haven't got any muck on my fingers or anything like that. And easy peasy lemon squeezy. When we take a tubular tyre off a rim, obviously it's stuck onto the rim, so we can't, there's no levers or anything you need to use. You just need to break the glue or the tape opposite the valve. So opposite the valve, we've got the valve down here. So I'm going to start working this tyre here and backwards and forwards to make the glue or the tape start to break. And we just work that along here. And you work it so you get it over the rim. Now I've got it over the rim now, and it's pretty damn easy. and then you can start to just pull it off like this. That's how easy it is. Now, I would love to see someone get a clincher rim off that quick. Probably they could, depending on the tyre and the rim. Some are actually pretty loose fitting, but with the newer tyres, you tend not to see that anymore because they're designed as tubeless and clincher. But in the old days, the clincher tyres did fall off pretty quick, but that's a thing of the past because of the new design. So we'll just pop that down here somewhere. So that's the rim, and this is the old tyre. I've got an extension valve on here, so I need to take that off and put that onto the new rim. And I've also got like a little bit of tape here. I don't know if you can see that. There's a little bit of tape here. I just put that on to stop the valve knocking, because when you're riding along it goes tick, 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 tick as this moves. So I just put a little bit of tape on there. That's just insulation tape that you can buy at your local hardware. Okay, we're just going to be looking closely at the threads here. So I don't know if you can see that, but we can see the threads where they've come apart from the backing strip on the tyre. So that's actually what's failed. That's what's given way. Those threads have started to break and pull away underneath the backing tape. Well, this is the box they come in, and we're just going to get the tyre out, and that's your tubular tyre there. And as you can see, they're called sewn up. Some people call them sew ups, some people call them tubulars. And as you can see on the back here, it's all sewn up. It's like a donut. So you don't have any hooks or anything where they go on. It's completely encased tyre, self-contained tyre. You can blow this up and it'll hold air. So that's how tubular, that's what makes a tubular different to a normal clincher or tubeless. It's not open, it's sewn up, as the word says. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to put the extension on here, because obviously I've got deep rims, so this is not going to be long enough. The issue is I need to take this valve out because it's a removable valve. Always buy tyres with removable valves because you can put sealant in, and also if you want to do that. So that's just a little handy thing if you're still using tubes. So we're going to take this valve off, and we're going to put the extension on that was on the other tyre, so that'll then poke out of the deep section carbon rims. Well, I'm just checking here that this is not blocked. Have had sealant in this tyre. That's fine. And I put the new valve in that came with the new tyre. So here's the new valve, and we're just going to pop that in the end of the extension. And I don't know if you've seen these little keys. We just hold it right so you can see it. So that's the little key there, and that just goes in the hole, and we just do up the valve into the extension, and then that just goes into the back of that extension there, and that's all done. And we can just tighten it up here like this with a bit of a tighten up. So now we have an extended stem, so we can now get to the valve if we have a deep section rim. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just dry put the tyre on the rim to make sure that it's going to fit, because one thing with Continental tubulars is they're usually quite tight going on the rims, and they can be a bit of a pain to get on. So I'm just, before I put any tape or anything on, I'm just going to dry mount this onto the rim. So I'm going to see how tight it is, and then maybe pop a little bit of air. I'm just going to go and get a little pump now to put like a little bit of air in, and to give it a little bit of shape so I can get it on the rim. Okay, just for a little bit of interest, this is a Zephyr HBX repump, what used to be called a frame pump, and you could adjust the back of it like this. So it springs, and you used to be able to put this in the old steel frame. So this is from the old steel frames day, before there was carbon frame. The very, very old pump still works. So good on Zephyr for making some great products. So I just like to use this to put like a little bit of air in the tyre. This works perfect. You can pump the tyre up to 100 psi, no problems. So we'll just get a little bit of air, just give it a bit of shape, pop that on there. I just like using this because it's kind of like handy. It's like an old traditional pump, and that's a little bit of air in there. You just need a little bit just to give it a bit of shape. That's all you need, just to give it a little bit of shape. Now what we're going to do, as I said before, we're just going to dry mount this. I'm just checking the brake tracks because these are ridden in the wet. Yeah, they look like they've still got a bit of life left in them. So that's one good thing. I just need to find a hole where the valve goes in. Now when you put these on, obviously you've got to stretch it. So you need to get in a position where you stretch it. So what I like to do is to stretch it like this, and you stretch it around, and we'll see how this Continental tyre is going to fit. And you need to work it on. And you can twist the tyre a little bit like this to get it on, so you just push it over. Well, this is going on very easy. I'm very happy with this. So there's no problems with fitment. This Continental tyre went on very nicely. So the next thing I'm going to do is get some tape, and we're going to put some tape on it, and we're going to stick it on. Now in an emergency, if you get a flat on the side of the road, I could actually mount this like this and put the tyre on and just pump it up. It will stay on as long as you don't start grinding your pedals and get a bit carried away about going around the corners. But if you're just riding, you're riding normally, this will not come off the rim even though it's not glued or stuck on. The pressure of the tyre will hold it on the rim. So that's the good thing about tubulars. If you've got a spare tyre that you're carrying with you and you get a flat, you can just rip the old one off. You can just pop this on, pump it up, and you can ride home. So you can just put a brand new tyre on. When you get home, obviously you need to take this off and then glue it or use the tape to stick it on. Okay guys, so I'm going to go and get the tape and we're going to put that on now. Okay, so I've just pumped it up, put quite a lot of air in it just to give it a bit of shape, give it a bit of a stretch. So what we'll do is we'll let that air out, we'll take that tyre off now, and then we'll put on the tape. And I suggest that you watch some of my other videos where I show you how to fit them, I show you how to put the tape on. I'm not going to go through the tape here, I'm just going to do it quickly, and you'll see me with the final product with the tape on. And then we're going to move forward with putting this back on the bike. Well, this is the tape that I'm going to be using. This is called Jantex. It's actually pretty damn cheap. You can buy some expensive tapes, but I find this one works. Now there's two. There's one for carbon, there's one for aluminium, and the carbon one is a lot more expensive. I just use the aluminium one on carbon. I find it's fine. The carbon one's a bit more stickier, but I don't have any problems with this tape. And the way it works with tubulars is the longer it's on, this tape kind of expands and it actually becomes more sticky, whilst with the glue, when you use the cement glue, adhesive cement, that's the opposite. It actually stays quite sticky when you first put it on, but if you leave the tubular tyres on your rims for like 2 or 3 or 4 years, like some people do, like triathlon people, and they only use them when they race, then the glue can become quite brittle and could come off. So if you're using the contact cement, I would, and you're going to race on it, I would probably suggest that you change it regularly, maybe once every year, once every 2 years, because it does become brittle. Once it becomes brittle, then it can crack and it can separate and come off your rims. But the tape doesn't do that. The tape is sort of gets stickier with age. But of course, the tape, as the science says, is not as fast or creates more hysteresis than the glue. So if you're racing, the glue is better, but the glue doesn't have the same longevity. Right, so now we're going to put the tape on. When you put the tape on, you start at where the valve hole is. Now on these tubular rims, there's an extra hole than the spoke holes. Where is it? I'm going round and round and round here, can't find it. It's here somewhere. There it is. Right, so you get extra hole in there. So let's just start this, and when the tape comes off properly, because the backing is coming off it. So this is basically double-sided tape, and you just stick the tyre on the rim. So we're going to go round, we're going to do this. So we're almost getting to the other end here. I'll have to go and get some scissors to cut it, which I didn't bring out. Silly me. So here we are here, and we've got to the end. So I'm just going to go and get some scissors, and I'll be back in a moment. Camera's back on. Now, when you put this in, for those people who've never done it before, you leave a gap. You leave a gap for where the tyre can go in, because normally there's a bit of a bulge there anyway, and obviously the valve needs to go through. So you don't need to make it go right hard up to the valve. It's not necessary. So that's my tape. My tape's on, and there's this double-sided tape on the rim, and what you do is you just fold that back slightly, so, and you fold it to the side, so you can then pull the double-sided tape out of the side of it when you put the tyre on, and then the tyre's in contact with the stickiness of the tape, and it sticks the rim. So let's now put this back on. I'm not riding it like as if I'm trying to win a race, so it'll be all okay. So now we've got that, and we do the same thing we did before. We put it in our hands, and we start to stretch the tyre as much as we can. Stretch, 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 stretch. So we're stretching it because we want to have as much give once we get to the other end as we can. So we just work this on here, and as you can see, it's coming off a bit. Okay, just pull that up over and pop it on. And we just want to check that it is on properly. So there's a bit here that's not on properly. I didn't stretch on properly. And we just want to see it's on nice and even on the rim. Just lift it up slightly and make sure it's on. Now what I like to do is like put a very small amount of air in, just enough to give the tyre some shape, but like 10, 20 psi, just so the shape in it's round. And then I pull the top layer of the tape out. So let's do that. So I just put that on, and we can just see it's starting to. We can just see it's starting to take shape, just enough to give it a round shape. So that's enough, nice and soft still, but it's got a little bit of shape. Close the valve so the air doesn't come out, and then we can start to pull. Now let's like to lift it a little bit so the top tape doesn't break, because this Velox tends to have a problem. It breaks, the tape breaks as you're pulling it out. So just lift it off the tyre a little bit as you go round. And now as I pull this out, the top tape, the tyre comes in contact with the double-sided tape and then is stuck to the tape. At this point in time, it's only slightly stuck because there's not a lot of pressure in the tyre. So we just go round and round and round and round until we get back to the valve where we had the other end of the tape finished. And we're about 3/4 of the way around now, and we just continue here. We're almost there, and here we go, final little bit, and then just pull that out there, and we're good. Now the tyre is in contact with the double-sided tape, so now we can pump it right up. Put some good old air pressure into it. Put the pump back on and just pump away. Me old Zeffel. This pump probably, geez, maybe 40 years old. Bought it 40 years ago. Something like that. Maybe 35, 40 years ago. So it's given very, very good service. Very good quality from years ago. And as you can see, the tyre is taking shape. Getting nice and hard here. And that's basically it, guys. It's on. So take that off there like that. Do up the valve. Put the top cap, the little cop hat on. I know a lot of people go, That's daggy, noob, but I'm a noob. So I put that on, and we get our old little rag that I used before, and we put this back into the bike. Now I didn't pull out those, I forgot to pull out the brake levers, so hopefully this will just fit through. And it does, so I didn't need to worry about that too much. Good old rim brakes, piece of cake, and just doing up the cam lever. One more. And we're good to go. Now I'm just going to clean this off here. This is what's so good about these wipes. They get all the black stuff off very, very easily. So my hands are cleaning up quite nicely. And I didn't get any oil on my hands, but the bike's very dirty because it's a rain bike. So there's a little bit of old glue. And there we go, that's it. That's it, guys. So if you have any questions, leave them down in comments below about tubulars. Don't be afraid of tubulars. I run them on everything. This is a rain bike where you would think you would have more problems. And I've got these Gatorskins on there. Pretty damn reliable. Don't give any problems. You can pick up the rims second-hand, usually pretty cheap because no one wants tubular rims anymore. And generally they're lighter. And they're actually stronger too because they don't have any hooks. They're made one piece, so they're lighter and they're stronger. Well, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you got something out of it. You saw how you fit a tubular tyre. A lot of people haven't seen that before. Why I think that the tyre may have failed. Well, I'm giving it another go just in case it wasn't related to age. So that's what I'm going to be doing. So leave your comments down below if you've got anything to say. You've had Gatorskin tubular or Sprinter or the clincher style, had any problems with them, let me know in the comments. And I will see you next vid.